Hi, this is Wendy from Knitters Brewing, and I'm going to show you how to embellish your knitting with embroidery, and in particular this video is going to cover the stem stitch. And that is this straight stitching that you can see both in the green and the blue that I've used to embellish these cables. Now, this stitch can be done a variety of ways. So you can see, if I stretch this out a little bit, I've got 2 columns of knit stitches, and I've got a couple of columns of purls, a couple more columns of knits. Now you could run this stem stitch right down between these 2 columns of knit stitches, which is what I've done up here. Or you could also do it right through the middle of one of these columns of knit stitches. And if I stretch these out, you can see those tend to open up pretty nicely. You can see the little gaps down there between the 2 halves of the knit stitch, so that's a really good place to do it. Or you can also do it up through an area of purl stitches, because you can see all these nice regular gaps here that we can use to do our stitching in. So any place you want to do it is fine. Experiment a little bit, find out what you like. So this is easy to do, so let's see how it's done. Alright, so you want to start by threading some yarn through a needle. I've got a large darning needle with a sharp tip on it, and I find that this tool works real well. And you want to bring your yarn up through where you want to start the work, leave a tail, and I'll show you how we weave that in at the end. And for this case, I'm going to run a line of stitching up through this row or this column of knit stitch, right up through here. So you bring your yarn up through one of the little holes in there. Now count over 1, 2, 3 holes. Put your needle down through and then bring it back up, counting back through 2 holes. So you'll have 2 of these yarn ladders on top your needle. Now pull that through with your needle underneath your yarn. Now keep your yarn up away from where you're stitching. Your next stitch, go 1 hole farther than you did the last time. Go down and then bring it back up. Go back 2 holes like that, so you'll have 2 ladders on top again. Make sure your needle's coming up below your yarn and tug it up. So that is what we keep doing. Go 1 farther the next time and back 2 holes. So you can see it's pretty straightforward, and I'm starting to build that row of stitching in the middle of this column. So you keep going until you want to stop, and then you take your yarn back through to the back and we'll tie it off. Now if you come to a cable or something like that, you can just go right underneath it if you want to skip under it. Just pretend like it's a bridge. Drive your car of yarn right underneath it and then just keep going. So it's an easy technique and a very quick way to add some pretty color work to your project. When I'm done with my stitching, to weave in the end, it's just going to be very simple. On the back side, I'm going to thread the end through my needle and just kind of take it through the back side of the embroidery that I did for a little ways. It doesn't have to be very long because it'll be secure. And then just pull it through, and then you can just clip the yarn right there and it'll be fine. And that keeps the back of the work looking just as tidy as the front.